Hey y'all, it is Nurse Kee, and we are back with A Nurse Kee Podcast. This is episode 18, and I am just so happy to be here. Y'all know I have to give y'all my spiel. If you new here, I am Nurse Kee. I am a mother, a woman, a motivator, a nurse. How could I forget that? I'm a nurse. And I am here to be the voice for those who feel like they don't have one. If you are not new here, thank you for the love, for the support. Constantly, it is something that I can never really thank you guys for because you guys really keep me going. I had a long week. My birthday was, August 27th. I think I told you guys that the last episode. So I turned 30. And I just want to say before we jump into this episode, 30 is different. 30 is very different. 30 is so different. And I don't mean to sound cliche, but 30 is different instantaneously. Like it happens instantly. And I think, I've been 30 for a couple days, about a week now. I just feel different. Everything that I thought I knew, I realized I didn't. Everything that I thought I wanted, I realized I don't want. All of the things that I thought that I needed to feel complete, I realized I don't need those things. I totally am just more eager to be better. Right? We always say, oh, I want to be better. I want to do this. I want to do that. And we turn around and we lollygag. But 30 has done something to me. And I mean, it's like running through my veins. And it's all on my mind. And it's all in my spirit. And I don't know. Maybe it's just this decade. I've always heard that your 30s is different. Like your 20s was your 20s. But your 30s is different. And I definitely feel the difference. I do. So shout out to all my Virgos. I put y'all above everybody. Shout out to us. And let's just get into it. So, this episode, I just wanted to, first of all, I want to tap into consumption in regards to the relationships that we find ourselves in. I think a lot of us are codependent. And I've seen that in people that I've watched. I've seen that in my own relationships. I think a lot of us are codependent on the other person. And when it comes to consumption, I think that a lot of my relationships consume me. And I see it consume the people around me. And not always in a bad way, right? It's not always bad to live in your person's skin, as we all would say. But as I'm getting older, and I really hate to really like make it like this, but for real, like turning 30 has made me realize that I was engaging in a lot of things that were just simply unhealthy. Like, I feel like a lot of things probably would have taken a different route if I didn't partake in things that were so unhealthy. And one of those things was being so codependent on my partner or allowing the relationship to consume me to where I shut everything else out. And it's so easy to do. Getting consumed and wrapped up and so fixated on who you in a relationship with. It's so easy to do when you like somebody. It's real easy to do when you love them or when you think you love them or you think they love you. And I did a lot of reflecting, like seriously, from the time that I turned 30 up until this morning, I've just been in a constant mode of reflection. And so much so that I've been having these headaches for like the past 3 days because I'm just so up in my head and I'm just thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. And I'm not really like sulking in what was. I'm more so trying to be in the present and I'm trying to prepare for what's to come because again, 30 is so different. It's like everything hit me like a bag of bricks, like relationships and friendships and work and my child and my family and my finances and my future, what I want to do, where I want to take the podcast. Am I going to write another book? When do I plan on expanding my family? When am I going to open myself back up to being in a committed? It's just a lot. So consumption. One thing that I think was the worst thing for me to do was to feel like my dude completed me. Like, he completes me. Like, oh, I was this, but now I feel whole now that we're together. That is a total fuck up. And if you feel like that, I want you to stop right now. Because to be honest with you, when I think about my next relationship and I think about what I want that to look like, I think my man deserves for me to come to him happy, right? Not looking for him to be that for me, but to add that to my life. He deserves for me to be happy. He deserves for me to have some things figured out. We're all a work in progress, so no, I'm not going to be perfect. But I feel like the man that I am ultimately going to love, I don't want to come to him with an agenda. Like, hey, you need to fix me. Hey, you need to be the one to make me happy continuously. My happiness is solely in the palm of your hands. This is your job. This is your responsibility. That's too much pressure for me. I don't want to do that. So when I think about the times when I was so codependent on these men, I depended on them for everything, right? While I was the one that's like, oh, I'm so independent. I don't need you to take care of me. I don't need your money. I don't need blah, 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 blah. I really depended on them for a lot. I depended on them for their presence. I depended on them to make me feel secure. I depended on them to, to kind of coddle my insecurities that had nothing to do with them, something to do with them. And I became really, really, really super just attached to them, and the relationship and the thought of it ending would just throw me into a deep, dark hole, and I would just be so devastated. So I would be trying to do all of these things to avoid that happening just for it to happen, right? And my codependency in these relationships on these men, these relationships consume me. So it was like, I've always been a hard worker. Since I've started working, I've never been without a job unless it was by choice. I've always been in school. I'm an avid student. I've always been in school. So it would be work, school, work, and my relationship. School, work, and my relationship. Because I never really let that fall out of it. But I would not be with my friends as much. I would not be with my family as much. I would not do the things that I love to do as much because I was so focused on being a good girlfriend. I was so focused on being the one. I was so focused on somebody seeing that I could be this person to them. And I totally took myself out of every other equation. And the consumption, I think moving forward, I don't want a relationship to consume me like that. I want to be in a relationship where I can still have everything else. Like, yes, it's me and you. Yes, it's us. This is a priority. But my friends are a priority too. I need date nights with my friends. I need a girls' day, multiple with my friends. I need to have phone conversations with them. I need to engage in text conversations with them. I don't need to eliminate that stuff because we're in this relationship, or I'm just so wrapped up in you that I don't have space for anything else. I don't want that. I believe too much of anything can be a bad thing. Everything should be in moderation. And I just thought that, I convinced myself, oh, I'm so clingy. Oh, I am so clingy. When I'm in love, I just want to be all over you. I want you to be all of me. That's not good. It's not healthy. It's given I can't live without you. And I want to be able to coexist and live in this world and feel like even if things don't work, right? Let's just play devil's advocate. Let's say the relationship is so good and for some odd reason it just doesn't work. I want to be able to be okay when it's time to separate. I don't want to be in a space where I was so consumed with this relationship that now that it's over, I feel like I can't breathe, eat, sleep, think. I can't function. It's taken so long for me to bounce back and get back to my natural self because this relationship consumed so much of me. It took so much out of me. I gave this relationship all that I had. No. I am so in a space where I'm willing to give you, some of me, and in that some, I'll give you that all. But I don't want to give every bit of my existence and my being to where when things don't work, I'm scrambling for those pieces. I don't want to do that. Because see, when you do that, it's so easy to lose yourself in love. Love being one of the greatest things on earth. It's one of those things that I feel like everybody should experience at its peak. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, love comes with some lows, and I don't really wish that on anybody, but when it's good, it's great, and I think that everybody should experience that. But what I don't want anybody to do, man, woman, whoever, is to get lost in love, because there's so much love in the world, even when it doesn't seem like it is. Don't let a failed love make you lose yourself in it, because in my experience, I have lost myself in every situation that I considered to be love. Every man that I have loved, to some degree, I have lost myself in him. And it's because when I'm with a man, when I used to be with men, let me throw that out there, because I am so different now. When I would be in relationships, it would be about this man. Every single thing would be about this man. This man was a part of my absolute daily routine. If I wrote down the things that I did on a daily, you can count on that man to be on that schedule. And so as a result, when the relationships would end, before they ended, like I said, I would not do the things that I would usually do. So I wouldn't see my friends as much. I wouldn't speak to my family as much. And it's not that it was like a tension or like a falling out. It was just, hey, I'm in this relationship, and this is where my focus is right now. I'm focused on this relationship. I'm focused on what we're going to eat today, what I need to do to make time for him today so that he can feel appreciated and loved and wanted and seen and all of these things. And it was taking so much out of me. And I truly, truly, truly lost myself in, all the relationships that I had, because once I get in them, I don't know how to not make it about you. If I'm with you, oh, baby, it's all about you. And in doing that, I didn't realize how much it was never about me. I would really tell myself, like, oh, I'm happy as long as I'm able to make you happy. And I would be stripped of all of my happiness. But I would convince myself that even though I am unhappy, right, I am still happy because I am making you happy. That is a crazy way to think. It is a super crazy way to think. Like, it's crazy. It's so insane to think. And I really, 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 really would say this out of my mouth to the men that I was with. And them being who they are, they would just take that and run with it. Like, all right, fuck it. I don't got to make her happy. All I got to do is accept the fact that she want to make me happy, and that's going to make her happy. I don't have to do nothing else. And that would really be the driving force. They would do nothing else. They would just soak up the fact that I'm doing all of this to please them, please them, please them. She doing everything. She doing this, she doing that. I don't have to do nothing. I just kick my feet up, and she's happy with making me happy. And every time I act like I'm unhappy, all she gonna do is strive to make me happier. I want that. I was unhappy. But I was convincing myself that as long as I was doing my due diligence, as long as I was doing my part in the relationship, I didn't need nobody else to do anything else. This is what I was telling myself. Like, I can love us enough for the both of us. Like, you don't really have to do much. I have this big, huge heart. My heart is so big that I can spread this amongst both of us, not knowing, no, two hearts is better than one. And I was so consumed. And a lot of people are. A lot of people are consumed. Just ask yourself, how... And I'm not talking about the healthy relationship. Obviously, healthy relationship, healthy people understand healthy things. They're doing the right things. I'm talking about people who are in relationships that are not so healthy. People that are in relationships to where they feel like they put their dreams on hold. Or they feel like they're not where they really want to be or where they would be if they wasn't so focused on this relationship. People who feel like they're not as close with their friends as they used to be. Or they don't talk to their mom and their dad as much as they used to. Or they can't really pour into their kids as much as they should because they so focused on this nigga. Right? Ask yourself, why do you need so much from this person? Why do you need so much of them? Right? Y'all already in a relationship. Y'all are crossing all the bases. What is it about you that needs to be so codependent on this person? What is it about you that as soon as you get into a relationship, it consumes every part of you? What is it about you? Do you have abandonment issues? Did something happen in your life to where people leave you? So as you got older, you put a death grip on people because you're afraid that they're going to leave? What is it? I feel like for me growing up, I guess it's like I had people, but I was always alone, right? In my own space. I grew up an only child, although I had siblings. It wasn't until I got 13, 14 that I actually, well, I can't say that. I was 8, 7 years old when I first lived in a house with my first set of step siblings. However, they were much older than me. And then when I turned 13 and 14, I moved into the home with my dad and my step siblings there. We were all like around the same age, so it was kind of a little bit better. But for the most part, I've always felt like it's just been me. So when I got older and I got into these relationships with these niggas who acted like they liked me, they acted like they loved me, I was just the apple of their eye. I just held on to them. And I just was so codependent on them. I always wanted to be on the phone, text. If we're away from each other, I need to know what you're doing at all times. It was just, I was so insecure and I didn't even realize it. And it was crazy. And my insecurities caused me to be consumed. Just consumed. I'm talking about consumed. And then it doesn't help when you're in a relationship who is just as codependent. If you're in a relationship with somebody who is just as codependent as you. You may not think about it that way. All you thinking about it is, oh my God, we is just in love. We can't get enough of each other. When we around each other, we just all up in each other's space. When we not around each other, we on the phone, we doing this, we talking, we da-da-da-da-da. He don't let me breathe. Oh my God. And girl, I'm here to tell you that's not love. It's unhealthy. It's control. It's all of that. And y'all both got them issues. And the relationship is gonna be all of that. It's gonna have all of those intensities. And when it hit rock bottom, that's gonna be intense too. Because when y'all have to separate, y'all gonna both have this deep void that y'all are trying to fill. Because y'all done consumed yourself with one another. And it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. So I've only ever lived with one man, right? Partially. And when we broke up, I felt so empty. And not so much because I wanted to be with him or I was still so wrapped up and in love with him, but he was always home. He was always in a bed. We were always together. It was always that. We used to go to the club together. That was my nigga. So when we broke up, I felt such a void. When my last relationship, when we were not together, we would talk on the phone. If we wasn't talking, or if we was on the phone, we would be it would be the weirdest shit. We would be on the phone. You know how you be on the phone with your homegirls and y'all on the phone, but she's sending you something on Instagram, sending you something. It was like that. We were so much of each other's shadow that it was scary. Like literally, like we would part ways. Like for instance, like let's say I left this house. By the time I made it to the car, we were on the phone. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I soaked in that. I'm like, damn, he must really be the one. Like, we just can't get enough of each other. We just cannot. Like, we can't breathe without each other. Like, I'm talking about, I would be at work. I'm a nurse, okay? I would be at work. Obviously, I can't talk while I'm on a unit. I can't talk while I'm in a patient room, right? But the moment I was off the unit and I was on the phone with my nigga. What's up? Yeah. And to be honest with you, the craziest part about it is we could be on the phone and be saying absolutely nothing. We just listening to each other breathe. And the shit was so crazy. And I didn't realize how codependent I was in that relationship, not only on him, but he was so codependent on me. And it was so unhealthy to where when we broke up, and the nature of why we had to break up is what allowed me to detach so easily. However, at first though, I felt sick. Like almost like wanted to vomit. Like I felt so sick because I felt like, wow, like I just feel empty. Like something is missing. Like everything, my whole life has changed now because this was all I knew. This was all I knew. He was all I knew all day, every day, from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep, all fucking day. And now it's nothing because I went cold turkey. Psst, we're done. Never look back. Right. First couple days, I was sick, like really sick. Like I felt febrile, like I was sick. And it was because I had allowed myself to become so dependent on somebody. And I allowed them to become so dependent on me. We never really had space. When we did take space, it was like the oddest shit in the world. It was so odd. It was so odd to me. But for the most part, we never took space from each other, ever. Like if we didn't sleep in a bed together, we would sleep on the phone. It was in your mind, you're like, oh, that's so cute. No, that shit is unhealthy. Because when it was time to part ways, it felt bad. It felt real bad. Like it felt worse than anything else. Like it was bad. And for anybody that's in that type of situation, like, yeah, it seems cute, of course. Oh, I love him. Oh my God, when we not together, we just can't get enough of each other. And later on in life, you find out that is going to be hindering to your relationship. Y'all need space. It's healthy for him to have friends. It's healthy for you to have friends. It's healthy for y'all to have a life outside of one another and then come together and share y'all life together. That is so healthy. I can't imagine my next relationship being like my past relationships. I'm just want to throw up thinking about it. Thinking that I would be so codependent on my man that I would be upset that he going out with his friends. Come on now. That's a lot. Or you done been in the house all week under this nigga. I'm talking about all week. Y'all really not even talking, and not so much because y'all beefing. Y'all just have this relationship where y'all so comfortable around one another that y'all can literally just be in each other's space and that be it. And then when you finally decide to get dressed up and go out with your fucking friends, he got an attitude. No way. No way. I remember I was in a relationship with this guy, and I remember saying like, oh yeah, I'm getting ready to go to my cookout with my family. He was so irked. He was so irked that I wanted to not be in a house with talking to him. Because at this point, all we could do was talk. He was so upset that I didn't want to stay in the house and just wait around for him to call. And I wanted to go be around my family. He had no understanding. Why would you want to do anything else? Because there are other elements of my life that exist that I have to nurture and cater. And when we get into a relationship with these men, we get real dizzy. We get dizzy. You sitting up so wrapped up, you got to just have your eyes, ears, and nose wide open to this man, to the point where as soon as he get out your eyesight for a minute and your whole body is folded up. For what? Let that man breathe. Let him breathe. And also demand that he lets you breathe. Like, what? We in these unhealthy relationships and we wondering why they don't work. Because we're not doing nothing to make them work. People need space. They need space. You got to give people space to miss you. You got to give people space to, it just has to be that healthy space to where, oh, damn, babe, I missed you all day. I feel like, we only talked a couple, whatever. Because then I even had a conversation with somebody like, what's the, and I think I'm going to say this for my next episode, but I'm going to just throw it out there now. We can kind of touch on it later. But what is, like, you in a relationship and, y'all in a relationship, like y'all together, and the last, like, what's an appropriate amount of time that you don't talk to them all day before you get to feeling all weird and shit? We have so many unrealistic expectations of relationships. And at 30, I have broken down my previous expectations and I've changed them. I've added some new ones and I've taken some out. Because to be honest, I made it real hard to be with me. I'm going to be honest. While I'm walking around here thinking that I'm that girl, I made it so hard to be with me because I had so many unrealistic expectations of the men that I was in relationship with. Don't get it fucked up. They had those very same mutual expectations because they handled me the same way. I encourage you to not allow relationships to consume you. Don't lose your friends because you got a man, girl. Don't start acting funny because you got that nigga. Because, see, when that nigga leave, you gonna need your homegirl. And if she a real one, you know what I'm saying? She gonna always be there. But don't push your homegirls to the side or skip out on them, or when they make plans with you, you don't want to make plans because your nigga called. Or when y'all are out and that nigga called because he wants you to come in the house. Girl, kick it with your friends. And he needs to understand, like, you out with your friends and vice versa. Like, I think that's the corniest shit ever. You can't maintain your friendships because you so focused on this relationship, but just as soon as your relationship ends, the first person you call is your very best friend. You done fucking shitted on her for all these months that you done been with this nigga. Now he done shitted on you and you need your homegirl back. Don't do that. Maintain those relationships. Find a balance. Find a balance. You don't even want to be around your family. You just can't tolerate your family and you done went and adopted this nigga family. No way. No way. Do not allow these relationships to consume you. The bad ones, the good ones, even the good ones. It's healthy to give your partner some space. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even in a place where I feel like I don't need my man. I need my man. I need you. I need you for all of the things that you think I don't need you for. I need you for everything, especially if we're together. I need you. And I expect for you to need me. I am done being a person that say, I don't need no nigga. No, yes, I do. But I also am not in a place where I'm going to make him the only point of contact in my world. I have so many people in my life who need me. I have so many people in my life who love me. I have so many relationships in my life that I have to cater to. I have a kid, right? I'm a mom. I have best friends. I have a mom, a dad. I have siblings. And I just think that it's unfair to get into, oh, you just in the honeymoon phase. You love this nigga. You done forgot about everybody else. Your people's calling you. You don't even want to answer the phone because you around this nigga. You do not want to put a glitch in no type of thing that y'all got going on. But just as soon as he do something to piss you off, you on everybody's line. You calling everybody. That's not fair. Don't be dizzy. It's cool to be in love. It's cool to love who you with. It is so cool to be in your relationship, right? But what's not cool is to lose yourself in love. Don't lose yourself in love. Because if you lose yourself in love, then who's going to do the loving? Who is going to do that loving? Who going to get that loving? So, Again, y'all know I don't like to use the word advice, but if I had to extend any grace, any encouragement, I would encourage you to find a balance. Become balanced in your relationships. Don't let it consume you. Don't be so codependent, and do not lose yourself in this thing that we call love. Don't do it. You're going to regret it. And we is out here trying to live a full life with no regrets. So with that said, if you came with nothing, I hope you left with something. And yeah. The answer is nah. I love y'all. Thank you.